It's Tasting Tuesday, so today is the day that I blind taste a wine, assess it, give it a score, and I'll talk you through the process that I'm going through as part of my WSET diploma. I'm going to be looking for these main categories as I'm tasting the wine. The idea is to give you an understanding of what you might be looking for when you're tasting a wine, to try and work out if it's any good or not from a quality level, but the most important thing really is if you actually like the wine or not. So this week's wine is a red wine. Last week's wine was a white wine. The first thing I want to look for is the colour on the wine, which you can see kind of there. It's probably a pale ruby, I would say. And I'm saying that because I can see the stem through the glass. But it does have a little bit of a slight orange around the rim of the wine, which could indicate a little bit of bottle age on this. The next thing I go on to is the nose, and what I'm really looking for is the main aromas from the wine that I'm getting, whether they're fruit, whether it's wine processing, or whether it's something that's to do with aging of wine, and also how intense those aromas are. So let's give it a sniff. Okay, so I'm getting primarily red fruit aromas from this wine. Definitely red cherry, without a doubt. Sour red cherry. Red plum, maybe a hint of strawberry. There's definitely some vanilla I can smell on this wine, which indicates to me that this wine has likely had some oak treatment. And there's an earthiness to this wine as well, which suggests that it might have had a little bottle age. That could be a varietal characteristic. Next we're on to the palate, which everybody enjoys because it's the bit where you actually get to taste the wine. And basically what you do is you swirl the wine around your mouth, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to release flavor compounds on your palate, because you actually have the ability to smell. There's a few sensors right at the back of your throat, and as the wine warms up in your mouth, it's going to release those compounds which are going to hit those sensors, and you're going to be able to appreciate the flavor of the wine. So what I'm looking for here initially is the wine dry. Does it have any sugar? It's dry. What's the acidity level on this wine? I'm going to go for medium acid. Could argue medium plus, but I'm going to go for medium acidity. Next up, we're on to the tannins. So that's the astringency which you would get in a red wine. You know, that it sticks to your teeth. Does it stick to your teeth? If it does, how much? How thick is that layer feel on your teeth? Do you feel like you're chewing the tannins? The tannin level can indicate climatic conditions that the grapes were grown in, also varietal characteristics. This wine is pretty, I'd say probably high tannin. Yeah, I'd definitely say this is a high tannin wine. It's got a relatively nice finish to it. And the finish is the length of time that the positive fruit aromas last on the back of your palate. I don't think Cesare would like this wine very much. He's much more of a Chardonnay guy. So the last thing I come on to is the conclusion really. So that's when I'm looking back at all the characteristics I've had from the wine, and trying to work out what the quality level is, doing this by the level of complexity and the flavors, and also looking back at what I've experienced to try and understand what this wine could be, where it could be from. So if I go back, I've got a pale wine, which could indicate a thinner skin variety. It's also got a little bit of a brown rim, which could indicate a little bit of bottle age. On the nose, I get sour cherry. I get a little bit of the earthiness. I get the red plum in there. I get vanilla, so it's had oak treatment, and probably quite a bit of oak treatment as well. On the palate, I've got sort of medium acid. I have the high levels of tannin, which could be varietal characteristics as well as climactic. The flavors are the same as the nose, but the complexity is okay. It's not amazing. The finish is medium plus, which is not bad. So when I take all these things into conclusion, I have to start thinking, okay, where in the world could this be from based on those characteristics? And for me, it smells, it's tough. For me, it smells Italian. It smells a little bit like Nebbiolo, which could be Barbaresco or Barolo in the north of Italy. if I had to guess, which I have to do, I would say this was a Sangiovese wine. Maybe not Chianti, but I think it's a Sangiovese grape variety, and that's probably as far as I'm going to go with this. I'm not. So here's the red wine I've just tasted. I haven't seen this bottle yet. I'm very interested to find out what it was. I called a Sangiovese as a grape variety, based on the flavor characteristics, the aroma characteristics that I got from the wine, and I scored it a 92 out of 100. So this is a very good wine. I would rate this as a very good wine. So let's see what we have here. Okay. So we have a Vino Nobile di Montepulciano by Ruffino. And this is a Sangiovese grape variety wine. It could be a blend. It's at least 80, I think 80 or 85% Sangiovese. It could have some other stuff in there. This is from southern Tuscany, where it's a little bit warmer. The altitude drops off a little bit as you get into southern Tuscany, and the styles of wines that come out of that region tend to be a little bit different than they are from central Tuscany, where Chianti comes from. But I've actually been to Montepulciano. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, and visited some vineyards near there. So that's Tasting Tuesday for this week. I'm pretty pleased that I got the grape variety right. The wine is a nice wine, and I'll put on my Instagram and the Facebook posts the price of this wine in the UAE, and also the average price of Wine Searcher for those people not in the UAE. Let's see what I get in the luck of the draw tasting next week.